We are back in session. I'll need a motion to adjourn from executive session.
I'll make a motion for adjournment from executive session.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned from executive session and back in the regular Piqua City Commission meeting, and we will begin with the consent agenda.
So tonight we have 6 items on the consent agenda. Approval of the minutes from the March 2nd, 2021 regular Piqua City Commission meeting. Resolution R2321, a resolution of appreciation for the public service of Deborah A. Stein as a city employee. Resolution number R2421, a resolution appointing Catherine B. Hines as a member to the Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission for a 1-year term to expire March 1, 2022. Resolution number R-25-21, a resolution reappointing Chris Smeezing as an alternate member to the Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission for a 1-year term to expire March 1, 2022. Resolution number R-2621, a resolution reappointing Kirsten French as an alternate member to the Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission Technical Advisory Committee for a 1-year term to expire March 1, 2022. Finally, resolution number R-2721, a resolution reappointing Amy Havener, an alternate member to the Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission Technical Advisory Committee for a 1-year term to expire March 1, 2022.
Wow, that was a lot. All right, so I would like to talk about a resolution for Debbie Stein. And basically it says, whereas, and Debbie's not here tonight, but the resolution says, whereas Deborah A. Stein has retired as an executive assistant with the city of Piqua, and whereas her retirement follows 20 years of faithful and dedicated service to the city and its citizens, now there be it resolved by the Commission of the City of Piqua, Miami County, Ohio, all members elected thereto concurring, that in recognition of the appreciation of the public service of Deborah A. Stein with the City of Piqua, this commission tenders its unanimous and respectful tribute by this resolution, which shall be a matter of public and permanent record. This resolution shall take effect and be enforced from and after the earliest period allowed by law. Debbie, thank you very much when you're watching this. I know you're out there. I know you're still a big City of Piqua fan. Don't be afraid to come visit us at meetings and come up to the offices, and thank you for your service. And also, we have a proclamation for Women's History Month, and just briefly, the proclamation says that whereas Women's History Month is a dedicated month to reflect on the often overlooked contributions by women to United States history, from Abigail Adams to Susan B. Anthony, Sojourner Truth to Rosa Parks. The timeline of women's history milestones stretches back to the founding of the United States. So we just wanted to recognize and make a proclamation about Women's History Month, and March is Women's History Month. And with that said, does anyone else have anything to say about the consent agenda? And then I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Next on to new business.
So we have a resolution number R-2821, a resolution authorizing continued wastewater biosolids to disposal at Cherokee Run Landfill and Bell Fountain Republic Services. Kevin Craney, Director of Utilities, will be presenting the staff report. Wherever you want to sit, you're fine.
You guys have received two, a numerical summary and a written summary of the biosolids transition we're going through at the wastewater treatment facility. You can see on there is how things were and how things are, and then how things are going to be. So it's a new era with biosolids there, a lot of changes going on. So I just want to give you a summary and then bring that on with the resolution for increasing the cost of the.
Sir, do you mind moving the mic a little closer to you? I can't really hear you.
There you go.
Is that better?
Well, is it on?
Is that better?
Yep.
Yeah.
much
Yeah.
better. Thank you.
Okay, sorry. First time doing this.
Good?
That's
no
okay.
worries.
Doing good so far.
All right. So I just wanted to present you with some of the history, the facts, some of the production volumes over the last few years, and give you a summary of what we're doing currently to address and minimize production and minimize cost. So with that, I leave you those documents, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them now or in the future.
I appreciate the document that you gave us. Is it possible to put it on your website so that citizens can see it?
Yes, we plan on, first of the year, we have started with Brittany even sooner we can. We're going to put a lot of these quarterly, like, just how we're doing, how much energy we're spending, how much water we've cleaned, how much biosolids. So we're getting to that point here soon where we're gonna just quarterly
Great.
put on the information and then update it every quarter. So this would be one of the things, the biosolids production and
I'd love that.
cost that we would definitely have on there.
I'd love that. I think citizens would love to see that, especially the cost savings that you've got in there. So thank you. Any other questions from the commission? Questions from the citizens? All right. With that said, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we adopt Resolution R-28-21.
I'll second.
Moved, it's a resolution. Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Good presentation.
Next up, we have Resolution Number R-29-21, a resolution authorizing a purchase order to Sherry Chrysler for the purchase of 3 Dodge Durango Pursuit vehicles. Tom Steiner, Deputy Chief, will be presenting the staff report.
Good evening. So tonight I'm here again to talk about our annual purchase of cruisers. That's part of our annual. We try to rotate some new cars in every year, keep the fleet fresh. We had some short times, Chris remembers, 2008, 2009, there we couldn't even buy a car. We were buying used cars. So-
Used cars, yes, we did.
So it was getting, so we did our bid, number 2108, that you would see as an exhibit with today's report, and Sherry's came out with the lowest bid.
I love it.
I'll just give you a little history on our how we do the fleet maintenance. We currently try to keep our cars as the frontline patrol cars for 5 years. This works pretty well because our new cruisers that we buy come with a 3-year, 36,000-mile bumper to bumper, and then a 5-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. So that takes care of most of your major mechanical issues that we might come across. So that keeps us going pretty well and not spending a whole lot of money on big repairs like that. Every year, every 3,000 miles, we keep them maintained regularly. Current manpower, as it is, we have 2 people assigned to a car. As you know, we work 12-hour shifts, so that kind of gives us 2 rotations. Try to keep somebody on each rotation. That way the car is not running 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours straight at a time. Gets a little break in there and gives us time to do that maintenance. And the guys then, they have that car. That's a little bit of, they have accountability for their own vehicle that way. So they make sure that they clean it out inside and out. Try to reuse as much equipment as we can from year to year on the different cars. Radios, cameras, things like that, so long as they're in good operating condition, we can reuse those. At this point, when we made our 2019 purchase of 2020 cruisers, Ford made a major change in their body styles of the Explorers at that time. So things like our barricades and consoles, right now we can't reuse. We have to get new items for the updated cars because of that. But we try to reuse when we can. Upfitting wise, after we get approved for what vehicles we get, and I'll set out a bid for upfitting. That includes black cars. We get the doors painted white for our black and white look that we've had for a long time. We were doing wrapping on the doors for a while, but it wasn't holding up very well. It was discoloring. And when I budgeted, I don't know if some of you seen kind of how I budgeted money out for the door painting. I used the highest bid from last year for that base, but what we actually paid was actually less than half of that to the lowest bidder. But it gave me somewhere to start with to make sure I didn't get tied up with a high cost I wasn't expecting. And this year we're going with Dodges from Sherry's. There's some reasons we weren't using Dodges before. Mainly they had a console shifter that doesn't really work well with trying to fit all the police gear in there, and they've switched that to a column mounted shifter now. And happy that a local dealer came in with our low bid for us. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm thrilled that we can use Sherry now, because I know
Amen.
in the past we weren't able to do it because of that equipment needs, so it's good. Always good when we can go with a local option, so.
Any other comments from the commission?
No, just a quick question, Deputy Chief, on the vehicles that we're replacing, do we have an estimated amount of mileage that's on those vehicles? And what that does for me when we talk about estimated mileage on those vehicles, and also talk about idle hours as to why we do replace our vehicles on a regular basis, understanding for the citizens that our vehicles idle a lot more. So could you explain a little bit on that as well? That way we can get an understanding.
And I don't have the exact, I didn't bring the figures on what our idle hours and mileage is. I actually just did a workup on that a week or so back. The miles on the cars we're replacing right now is around 85,000 miles, so we should be pushing close to that 100,000 by the time we get the replacements in, and that's the breaking point that we want to try to stay within. Idle hours on those are approaching 2,000 hours, idle hours, and the way that Ford at least says to calculate idle hours is basically an idle hour. When we're just sitting there running, I'm out at a traffic crash, I'm not driving anywhere, but I have my lights on and my car is running, that time would count towards the idle hours. And the way Ford calculates that is 1 hour of idling is approximately equal on that motor as if you were driving 20 miles. So if I get 1,500 or 1,500 idle hours on there, they're saying that's close to, would that be
150,000 miles roughly.
But you understand what I'm
Yeah.
trying to get to, so,
Thank you.
yes.
I appreciate you explaining why we now have the opportunity to pursue Dodge as an option. Before, we had pretty much Ford was the only real option that we had, right?
Chevrolet would
Or Chevy,
send us.
sorry.
No, Ford was what we've been using. Chevrolet would they didn't send us nobody from Chevrolet sent us a quote this year, but the Tahoes the cost on them has always been very prohibitive, so we've been using the Fords, and we've been very happy with the Fords, but the issues that were keeping us away from Dodge has resolved now, so.
That's great. That's good.
I can just tell you that I'm happy we're using a local option. I know that they were disappointed for years, but now that we have the opportunity to go to them, it helps us all. So it helps the local economy as well. Any questions from citizens? No questions? Then I will request at this time a motion.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution R-29-1.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next is a section for public comment. This is an opportunity for citizens to address the city commission regarding agenda items, issues, or to provide information. Comments are requested to be limited to 5 minutes, and specific questions should be addressed to the city manager's office. Anyone from the audience?
Good evening. I'm Valerie Mulliken. I am the director of a new nonprofit here in Piqua. established in August of 2019. Excuse me, this has fallen off. I'm going to slip it away. The organization is Operation Veteran and Caregiver Support. Our name actually officially changed today. We were Operation Venture. Venture standing for Veterans Empowerment Network to Understanding Resources Earned. Our organization was established to assist veterans and their caregivers as well as their families in the Miami Valley. We've been stretched beyond the Miami Valley. We have worked as far west as California, Oregon, Texas, and as far east as Maine in the past year. We became a 501c3 in February of 2020. We did that on the heels of, or at the beginning of COVID. Needless to say, fundraising has been a big detriment to our organization and expansion. However, our activities have exploded. We had a great partnership, actually, with Cavelli Enterprises, Panera Bread. Some residents here in Piqua, actually the majority of the people that we do this for are from the Piqua area, have received no contact door drops of Panera Breads and pastries over the past year. We've also delivered to our shut-ins groceries and toiletries, cleaning supplies. And I wanted to bring to light to you guys tonight what we are doing, how we're moving forward and proceeding with the restrictions being lifted on what we're capable of doing as an organization, and also just to encourage you to get involved as a city because we are founded right here in Piqua, Ohio, my hometown. And it's important to me and my organization, actually. So we are hosting currently established 4 veteran resource fairs. The first one will be occurring at the Miami Valley Center Mall here in Piqua on April the 17th from 11 to 3. That event will encompass a wide variety of veteran and military organizations from around the area, as well as other public resources as organizations continue to filter in. Effective today, I'm up to 21 organizations that are supposed to be present, and I have the ability to have 45. Obviously, their organizations will be socially distanced throughout the mall. Mask wearing will be required as of the governor's order at this time. But the event is wide open for not just our military and veterans and their families, but in the general community should come in. Come and see what we're doing, see what these organizations are offering. We have a service dog organization coming. We have USA Cares. It's a great organization that just launched a chapter here in Ohio that'll be coming in, and I want people to get familiar with them, especially the post 9/11 generation of veterans, because this organization really has a great mission. We will have a wide variety. I can't even begin to tell you all the organizations. We will also have the Darke County and Miami County Veteran Service offices there represented. And we're working on trying to get Shelby County there as well because they are our neighboring counties and they do come here to shop in Piqua and spend time and money in our region. Our second event of the year will be at the Miami County Food Truck Rally. That'll be on May the 22nd in Troy, Ohio. That'll be a smaller resource event because of space that's allowed at this time. But again, we will have these varied organizations that will be coming in to reach the community. We actually hosted our first veteran resource event there in May of 2019 before we became an organization, and we served between 75 and 80 veterans. Wow. So I can only imagine with the gates opening on organizational activities this year, how many veteran families that we're going to actually be able to reach in May. Our third event out the door will be on August the 13th at the Miami County Fair. That is the Veteran and First Responders Military Day. That is a Friday. That is the opening day of the Miami County Fair. Again, we will have a resource event. That will be tailored a little bit smaller also, but geared towards specific economic type organizations. So the Consumer Council will be there and some other organizations that will help with addressing things like rent and utilities and those sorts of things. because we find that for whatever reason, the fair seems to bring out people who really have crises in their line. And
Got five.
so
You're at your
I
five.
would encourage veterans and their families and so forth to come out for that. Our fourth event the details have not been fully worked out yet. We'll get those worked out tomorrow. But I'm here to let you guys know that September 10th, 11th, and 12th, the Miami County Veterans Services is holding a 9/11 memorial. And that is a countywide event supported by Miami County that will be hosted at the Miami County Fair, and we will be having a resource fair there as well. So if you have any questions, you need assistance, you know somebody who needs assistance, and they can be a widow, they can be a family member. If they need assistance, they can call us at 937-570-6460, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. And again, that's 937-570-6460. And we want you to reach out. We want our veterans and our military members to know that they've got the support and their caregivers, for a lot of them in our community. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Appreciate
very
your
much.
time, and thanks for all your hard work.
Yeah, Valerie, I can remember when we met like back in 2019 when you were just starting this. So it's really exciting to see how far it's come. Thank you for all that you're doing for the veterans and their families. It's wonderful.
Good job. All right. Anybody else from the audience?
Jay Roman, 406 West High. I just got one thing to talk about today. Yesterday, I met with Brittany Van Horn, and we started to put the wheels together for an event that's going to take place. We'll say beginning of summer. We still don't have the exact date set yet. But what I want to do is something I've been talking about for a while. As we all know, Miami County in general, when it comes to voting, PIC was always at the bottom of that.
Yep.
So I figured that, what better way than to start, getting some more people involved and to do a voter drive. So that's what we're going to do. We've already got a group of event organizers together. Like I said, I talked to Brittany Van Horn yesterday. We've got the wheels in motion, and I would like to formally invite all 5 of you and any city employees who would like to come to this event. Date to be announced soon, hopefully.
Okay.
sooner than
You have a
later.
location yet?
Well, we want to do it across the street.
Sure.
So we've already got that all mapped out. I've got all the proper permits and applications and site maps put out. Details are still a little fuzzy
Okay.
as in what exactly we're going to do there, because we're going to have to do more than just, here's a form. We're obviously going to have to do a couple more events besides that. While nothing's set in stone, I don't want to say it yet, but I do have some stuff in mind. But I just at least want to put the idea out there early summer. That is something that I'm going to put 100% of my effort into getting this off the ground, getting some people registered to vote and getting them involved in this town. Because until that happens, in general, it doesn't matter what your opinions are if nobody's acting on them. So there is no better way than to get people involved when it comes to voting. And I think that's something that is needed in this city. I think anybody that pays attention can agree. And so look for that. Other than that, I've got nothing else to complain about.
Appreciate you coming.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
I think that's great. I mean, we get so hyped on the federal level and voting and those, but how much do we do on the local level? So trying to get people encouraged in there, I think that's phenomenal.
I think Georgia showed the roadmap
Yeah.
that you can register people and get them involved. So they can do it in Georgia. Yeah, you still got time.
Something else. Okay, so it's out of time. On that,
Yes.
there is going to be one rule: no national politics talk
Very good.
at all. So that is something. If someone wants to approach one of you guys and ask your opinion on it, that's fine. But as far as the event organizers go, if anybody's like, I don't want to hear anything about Republicans versus Democrats that are watching at home, don't have to worry about it on this one. It is 100% focused on the city of Piqua and Miami County. It is a strict rule that I'm going to make sure everyone that is working this adheres by. We've actually already talked about it. So the event organizers in general all agreed, like, it needs to be centered around.
We just want to register people to
Absolutely.
vote.
Right, nothing else. It has nothing to do with, again, if they want to have conversations after the fact, that's a completely different thing. But that's the main goal. So, yeah, since you brought that up, that's all I'm going to say.
Very good. Thank you. All right. Anybody else from the audience? All right. We'll move then to the city manager's report.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioner. Commission. And so I did have one question from last meeting. It was from Commissioner Hines about the snow and ice removal on the bike path. While it's not programmed currently in our operations, it's going to be included in our snow and ice operations plan. While it'll be a lower priority, it'll still be specified in the plan. It'll be released in the fall going into next snow season. Let's knock on wood, we're done with snow for the year. And with that, I didn't know if you had any more questions.
Yeah, and I think with that, I'm just thinking about those thoroughfares like behind Kroger, that, you know, those thoroughfares that just aren't for walking, but people actually use them to get back and forth to work
Right.
or food or whatever. So, yeah, good, okay.
So, yeah, we'll be addressing that.
Yeah, great, thanks.
All right, and then with that, the other item that I discussed last meeting was the work we're going to be doing down on Main Street in terms of the traffic control. And so I have a presentation, short presentation that demonstrates kind of what's going on down there and what the intermediate fixes will be. So if we can go to that slideshow, please. So as you all know, you can see the High Street Market and Main Street intersection at the 4 quads, and some of the this aerial is actually before we even put the planters in. This graphic, courtesy of Brian Quinter's shop, indicates the areas where we did put the planters in to kind of choke the lanes down and slow traffic down. There's been some issues with people running into the planters, especially during the winter when there's no vegetation in them and it's dark. Things like that. So we've been taking that into consideration in terms of what we're going to address down here. Some of the things that Mr. Quinter noted was some traffic movements that are not necessarily legal or advisable. This one that he's depicted is actually a shortcut through his parking lot in front of his business, where folks come out of the one-way, they cross Main Street, and then they continue as though it's a roadway thoroughfare through that quad. That's problematic because a parking lot doesn't really, is not conducive to roadway speeds. This indicates some of the left-hand turning movements coming out of the one-way that can impede both pedestrian and vehicular traffic and create confusion and some accidents, and he's on his webpage shown quite a few of those videos. And again, this is just some of the conflicts that arise from having this complicated intersection where you have too many roadways, pedestrian interface. This is a great example of what a lot of folks like to do, which is go up the wrong way, down the one way, or pull out and go contraflow against oncoming traffic when they pull out of the one way onto West Main Street or onto Main Street. One of the things that we are doing is enforcement, and this is actually pictures I took the other day when I was driving down the road and saw our wonderful PD doing their thing and taking care of business. The person that was pulled over turned left out of the one-way and went down Main Street where they were pulled over very quickly. While we can't do everything through enforcement, what we're looking at is a temporary or an interim solution using excuse me, using these lane dividers. And so by having delineators installed on the center line as well as in some of the lane lines, it'll help direct traffic in these locations. So if you look at the quad where the red circle is right now, you can see where there's a lane line and then a turn arrow. And so we're going to obliterate that through lane arrow and install white delineators to choke the lane down to a right turn movement only. And then we're going to install delineators at the center line with center line markings that will keep traffic from crossing out and across the street there, being that it's not an intersection. It'll be posted right-hand turn only out of the one-way, and it'll be posted no right-hand turn into the one-way into that alley.
Love it.
And then the other thing we're going to do is add these delineators around the planters to kind of highlight the fact that there's objects in the roadway since it's at grade. The long-term fix would be to build an island that, that would keep the planters above grade and offer a recovery zone for the traffic, even though it's low speed, and then again on the other island. So as an intermediate fix, hopefully this will satisfy some of the problems that we've encountered. The long-term fix is going to be really getting it on the capital improvement program as a submission this year. We'll engage with the businesses and communities about, how they feel about it, how it works from a pedestrian as well as from a vehicular standpoint, and if there are any impacts to business based on the change in traffic movement. We'll design the improvements and then put it to construction when funding becomes available. It'll be worked in conjunction with the landscaping project that was slated for this year downtown to remove the trees that have long gone past service life and that are bleeding kind of a mess all over the downtown. I've been speaking with the businesses about postponing that project for a year and then combining these two into a nice single project. And if we sell it, getting the better bids with a larger project instead of two small projects. So that's really it for my presentation. Thank you. Any questions?
Well, I like how you are tackling the problem. I came to you and suggested you see Mr. Quinter, and you went down of your own volition, met with him, and we've come up with some, actually listened to some of his suggestions. Some of these things he suggested to me as well. And you are taking the bull by the horns, and I like the solutions that you are coming up with, so.
Thank you. I appreciate the fact that Mr. Quinter, has a lot of video documentation that helps us understand what's going on down there.
He truly cares and
Yeah.
is concerned that people might get hurt, and I understand where he's coming from. But by the same token, he understands also that, it takes time to implement it, and it's not just you or I making the decision, that there are several departments involved, city departments involved in making some of these changes.
Correct. And to that end, so next Thursday, weather permitting, we will have the Transportation Committee. Our Public Works is going to set up cones down there, the tall grabber cones, and kind of lay out what it looks like and observe for a while if people comply or not. But certainly, the Transportation Committee has representation from police, Public Works, engineering,
Yes.
as well as economic development and community development. So they'll be able to, go down there collectively and decide if this is what we want as an interim fix before we buy the actual material to put it in. And then once we do install it, if that's what they desire, then the long-term boulevard fix.
All right. Any questions from the commission, the city manager?
Great,
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Any other topics for you, or is that it?
Nope, that's the end of my report.
That's
Thank you.
it. All right, I appreciate you. Thank you for all you do. We'll start with Commissioner Hines.
The only thing I have is congratulations to Debbie Stein for
Yep.
20 years in retirement, and I know she is enjoying having time off and enjoying family. So that's all I have. Thanks.
Commissioner Grissom.
Thanks. I got multiple things I wanted to discuss tonight. First one, Mr. Joe Wilson reached out to me saying that he's heard seniors are struggling trying to sign up for the COVID vaccines and didn't know if there's a phone number to call, any information we can put out there.
Yeah, so I have a couple of slides here that speak to the COVID, and we can have this posted first thing tomorrow on the web. But it's a list of locations, pharmacy locations, and phone numbers and contact information for their websites of where the vaccine will be distributed. So please feel free to do that. If you have trouble accessing any of this, feel free to call our health department or stop in, and they'll be sure to help you personally if you're having difficulties with that.
Thanks, yeah, because I
Thank
believe
you.
they expanded out the age ranges again, and so it may become more difficult. So having those resources available would definitely help people. Thank you.
Going down to 40.
Next thing I had was marijuana dispensaries, give an update there. So the Board of Pharmacy actually had a public hearing last week. I was on that to hear some of their comments and what people were discussing. Takeaways I got is I believe this Thursday they're going to be voting on some rule changes and amendments to application processes. multiple things really. But what I did see is that there was a general need for more dispensaries. So there could be, I know the last meeting we talked about was the basic restriction that we're waiting on is for the state of Ohio to lift those, well, not really lift restrictions, but allow for more applications to open up. So just kind of follow up there. I'm going to try to attend that meeting on Thursday just to find out exactly what was being posted and try to see with the state of Ohio what exact rule changes it was. It was kind of hard to navigate kind of their website and see and all those, but listen to their conversation. Next, I want to talk about DORA. For people that aren't familiar with that, Designated Outdoor Recreation. And Thomas brought this up last year. I know it's something that had been in the works in the past as well too, so it's something definitely wanted to revisit. I know it's been kind of a hot topic. I know last year things kind of got slowed down with COVID, especially with socializing, so that topic kind of subsided, but as positivity rates are dropping, I like to take a relook at DORA and implement within Piqua.
Yep.
It can increase downtown business activity, drive additional development, so definitely something I'd like to take a look more into as we're moving forward.
That's possible, correct?
Absolutely, yes. And we'll
Thank
make
you.
sure that it runs in parallel with any other projects that we have going on.
Sounds great.
Utility software update. So met with key stakeholders involved, and Mr. Oberdorfer pulled all the appropriate people together into one meeting, which has been great. Helped get things moving. Expect to have higher functionality internally by midsummer, and mobile applications available to citizens possibly by the end of the year, maybe early 2022. Really looking at that, pulling that together. So I'm excited about some of the progress we've made in that regard. And then next, transparency. I know we talked about that last time. Working on a few initiatives there. Commissioner Folk and I were, again, working with Mr. Oberdorfer and city staff. We're working on better ways for commissioners to communicate with everyone. We're looking at options through social media, easier ways to reach us, better ways for us to provide more timely responses, because I know sometimes that's been of a concern. Lead into this, we talked about website redesign. That's in the works.
The city website,
Yes,
right?
city website, thank you. I've seen some of the new functionality with that as well. It's going to be much better, much more organized, designed more towards the citizens, which is what we need. For example, looking at making more permit applications online, make things more streamlined and easier versus paper, and much better navigation, because we all know there's an issue trying to be able to find information on there. Did you want to add anything on that, Thomas?
Yeah, when we come to my comments, I'll compound upon what you talked about on the media side.
Okay, thanks. Fiber network, I know that's something I was discussed in the past as well, so administration's reviewing all fiber and communication agreements as we're looking to renew those. And then charter review, I know that's something that was on the topic for the year as well too. So looking at starting to approach that topic here so that by fall time we'll have something more in line to kind of start with the fiscal year for 2022. So just some updates, wanted to bring up some initiatives I know we're all working on.
Thank you very much. And we all are working on it. That is a lot. And these are hot topics, and Commissioner Grissom will be focused on all of those.
Absolutely.
Continuing. Commissioner Pearson.
I would like to let you know that the state has updated a new site where you can look for a job. So if you're looking for a job, the new website is ohiomeansjobs.com. Currently, there are 157,000 jobs available and 3,200 internships that have been posted on this site. So that might be a great spot for you to go and take a look at in the counties what's being offered in the way of a job. The other thing I wanted to talk about is along Chris's line of transparency, that we as commissioners might be able to come out into the public and make ourselves available one night a week or one night a month starting in May. I want to speak with Brittany about getting all this information out to the media. and we'll keep you informed. But it would be one night a month that's going to be set aside where we as commissioners or other city employees are welcome to come, and we'd have an open forum. You could bring your questions, your concerns to us, and we'd be happy to discuss. So watch the Piqua website and neighborhood and Facebook, and we'll get the information out to you as soon as we can.
It's a town hall format?
Yes, town hall format.
Yep. Feel free to stop out and see us. That'd be great.
They'll be located at the gazebo at 7 p.m. on the night of the forum. So be sure to look for it. We want to invite our citizens to come out and talk to us. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Commissioner Foat.
The only thing that I really had to, well, two things. Debbie Stein, thank you for your committed service to the city. Once again, we look at the tenures of our employees that we have here to dedicate 20 years of service to the city is absolutely immaculate. And, you know, can't say thank you enough for that. The other thing, what Chris Grissom alluded to was the media rollouts. We had the opportunity to sit down with the city staff, and it seems like we're starting to climb the ladders of success here in the city with relationships building with all of our departments and getting things on track for our citizens, so this becomes a well-rounded city for our citizens to be able to collect all the information. And within the media rollouts, it's going to take some time to get those done, and we have to make sure that as commissioners, as we work through these processes, that we have to operate under the Ohio Sunshine Law, which is something that we're all governed by, and we need to make sure before we roll these platforms out for our citizens to be able to engage the commissioners and for the commissioners to engage the citizens, that we don't ensue any infractions on the Ohio Sunshine Law. I would recommend, I'm bringing that up, if you want to look into that law, there is a new form, there's a new publish out there for 2021. By all means, go out there and look at that. You guys can see as citizens of what cities and what the governments are actually lawed by from the state of Ohio. And those are guidelines that we have to stay in. So, you know, we do talk about them a lot, but for you guys to be able to gain your own research and understand that we are governed by those. So please give us some time as we work through these issues and get the information out there as fast as humanly possible, but make sure that we stay within our governing guidelines. That is all I have.
All right, thank you. And for my report, I just have a few things, but one of the things I want you to see is that every commissioner has got things that they've got going on, and it's all done for the benefit of all the citizens. So listen, pay attention, ask, seek out your commissioner if you have questions, or any of us, and we're willing to help. A lot of good things going on in Piqua. We want to make sure that you're aware of them. First, I'd like to thank Debbie Stein for her long tenure, 20 years of service to the city. Debbie's a friend. I've known her a long time, and she is missed by the city employees, but she's looking happy because I see her on Facebook out and about and doing things. So thank you again, Debbie. And I just want to say thank you to our city manager. City manager is doing a fantastic job. He has an open door policy. So if anybody would like to see him, I know he's busy, but he'll make time for you. He is changing some things, and, you know, if you're not used to change, get used to it with this city manager. He's changing some things for the better. City manager's doing a great job. I think we're all in agreement that he is doing a good job. Am I wrong?
Absolutely.
All right. So thank you, Paul, for all your hard work, and keep it up.
Thank you, sir.
Anytime, anytime. And the thing that when I first came to the commission, and it seems to be a general trend, is the openness and that the commission I wanted to bring to the commission, and that all the commissioners are seeming to echo with me. And you know, we want to be transparent. We are your representatives. We are here to help you. If you have an issue or a question or a problem, we're here to help. We'll point you in the right direction. Put you in touch with that person that needs to hear your problem, and we'll try and solve it the best way that we can. So, in air of openness, don't be afraid to contact us, because that's what we're here for. You know, I wanted to give you a little update on the pool. We haven't talked about a pool. It's getting closer to summertime. We are waiting on a final report from the people that we contacted and sourced to do a pool report. They're going to give a final report. As soon as that final report comes, we'll make it public. I'm not going to hide anything from anybody. The Parks Board will hear about it, and then we'll make a presentation to the citizens so that everybody can see what the recommendations are and where we could possibly head with the pool. So it's coming soon, most likely by next month,
Yes.
next
In
meeting
April.
maybe. So stay tuned, all right? And I don't think I have anything else other than that it has been a busy time in the city, and I'm proud to be the mayor of Piqua and commissioner and representative of the city. So thank you. If anybody has unless anybody has anything else, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. We are adjourned.